poll-bound Mizoram, a face-off between the people and not a political party but an election commission of India itself. Since early this morning, thousands of youth have poured into central Aizawl's Treasury Square and are holding prayers and singing right outside the office of the CEO. They want the election commission's man in Mizoram out because he ordered the transfer of the principal Home Secretary of the state. The two locked horns over an old and thorny issue. Can Mizoram's exiled Bru community, also now living in camps in Tripura, cast their vote in November 28 polls from where they are? Can they be on the electoral roll if they live outside the state, or the postal ballot their only option? The Brus fled Mizoram more than 20 years ago after ethnic clashes. All right, I'm told I can go across to Adam now. He's the editor of Frontier Dispatch, joining us on the phone line for more on this. Adam, give us your first reaction to what's unfolding in Mizoram.
Well, this has completely changed the election scenario, in fact. There was a lot of electioneering going on, and this issue has basically taken over the entire electioneering process in the minds of the Mizoram population. We had a very, I think, last time there were about 42,000 people who had turned out in the heart of Aizawl to protest against the transfer of the Home Secretary, Mr. Lalnunmawia Chuaungo, and also to demand the ouster of the Chief Electoral Officer. The crowd has more or less dispersed. It was a very peaceful demonstration. There was singing, there was praying, and that has, as of now, the square is now almost empty. But that was the scene that we witnessed here today.
All right. Thank you for your perspective over there, Adam. In fact, earlier we spoke with my colleague Ratnabeep. This is what he told us.
In fact, this anger has been brewing from last week, ever since Election Commission took that decision of transferring the Home Secretary on the recommendation, rather on the complaint of the Chief Electoral Officer, S.B. Shashank. So S.B. Shashank had complained to the Election Commission about the Home Secretary that he is trying to interfere with the poll preparations, and this led to widespread protest because the Home Secretary is a Mizos, so that also triggered local sentiments. And then the civil society groups in Mizoram, several of them, which are very powerful, to which the common people they listen to them, and these civil society groups actually gave an ultimatum, a deadline to the Chief Electoral Officer till yesterday evening to leave Mizoram. And after that, we are seeing this build-up. Now, massive build-up. Protesters in thousands are on the streets in Aizawl. Aizawl is completely under siege. The schools, colleges are shut down. The shops and business establishments have been shut down. Now, there is no violence. It's a very peaceful protest. Mizoram is known as the most peaceful state in the northeast, and the protesters are living by it. And even the Election Commission have understood that they have a crisis in hand, and they have decided to rush in a team. A 3-member delegation is reaching Aizawl this afternoon and will be meeting the protesters trying to solve this crisis. Now, what has happened yesterday is that the Chief Minister, Lalnunmawia, has written to Prime Minister Narendra Modi asking for immediate removal of the Chief Electoral Officer, S.B. Shashank. The Chief Minister also alleged that the Chief Electoral Officer had, tried to behave beyond his jurisdiction, but the Chief Electoral Officer has maintained that he was just doing his duty to ensure free and fair elections. But in fact, the state BJP, now BJP is a new entrant to Mizoram politics, has also kind of supported this move from the civil society groups. So clearly there is unprecedented confrontation between common people and the Election Commission, very rare in India, and one has to see how the meeting unfolds when the Election Commission delegation reach Aizawl.